Good morning, and welcome to the February podcast. February being Valentine's Day, it's more appropriate for a heart day. And so happy Valentine's Day to all of our folks out there. A couple things to begin talking about. The very first thing I want to talk about is language barriers. You know, a good number of our students do not speak English fluently. English is certainly not their first language. So when we're teaching a class, we want to make sure that we're speaking slowly and very distinctly so that they can understand what we're saying. Now, sometimes if we're teaching a group and they do speak a certain language and you speak that language, then certainly do the class in their language. That just makes more sense. But if you're doing a kind of a mixed group, then you kind of gear your group for the basic group English, and then make sure that you speak slowly and distinctly. And you may want to take a little yellow sticky and put it on your notes so that when you're doing your class from time to time, that yellow sticky will kind of catch your eye and you realize that, hey, no, I need to slow down, or I need to speak a little bit clearer for the folks. If you're paying attention to the students themselves, if you're watching their facial expressions, you will pick up on the fact that somebody didn't understand something, and that's kind of a blow against PowerPoint where you're in a dark room. So sometimes having the lights on and doing your class and seeing how your students are reacting really is much better for you and for the class, and certainly for them. Now, the Heart Association has made various supplies available in different languages. For example, the Basic Life Support Program comes available in English, Spanish, Arabic, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Polish, and Portugal. I should say Portuguese. So what a vast array of different languages that the material actually comes in. That's the books, that's the videos. So if you do need something like that, let us know. We'll give you a price on it. In some cases, the price is actually less expensive than the English version. So you might want to check with us on that. The Heart Saver comes in English, Spanish, and Italian. The First Aid comes in English, Spanish, Arabic, and Portuguese. So you would think that the Heart Saver would come in a multiple group of languages too, considering that's the lay general public, but not really. So again, if you need something like that, let us know. It's really neat to do. I've done a couple Spanish classes, and using the Spanish material really does help the students having the books that's in their primary language. Okay, so if you need something like that, please let us know. The other thing is when you're leaving a message for us, we talk about speaking slowly and distinctly to teach your classes. Well, that comes in true when you're trying to leave us a message on the telephone. You would be surprised how many people call our own instructors, you guys out there, and say, hey, give me a call. Okay, know who you are. And you know, we're pretty good with voices, but with close to 600 instructors on the rolls, we can't remember every voice. So we really do need your name, and we really do need a phone number to call you back. We're not that good yet, and our phone really doesn't record necessarily every phone number that comes in. So we really do need your name, your phone number, and actually if you could give us a little brief message as to what you're calling about, we might be able to get some stuff ready so when we call back, we're on the same sheet music and can help you with whatever your question is. So that's a little thing. So it really does make it frustrating on our end. We know you want us to call you back. We have no idea who to call. Okay? Large classes. Those that might have heard recently, we've done a couple large classes recently. I'm familiar with how to do that by setting up stations, and everything is still done for the students. Doing a large class doesn't mean it gets done any quicker. It does mean that there's a lot more moving parts, a lot more instructors, stations. Each person still has to be proficient at their station, whether it be adult, child, infant, AED. All those stations have to be covered, have to be done well before they can move on to the next station. So it does work. It is a way of doing multiple groups of people at one time. However, you do need more than just you to do something like that. So in some cases, we've had 18 instructors on location. Well, with 18 instructors, we can cover all the stations and large groups. I don't want to see you doing a group of, say, even 30 by yourself. You need additional instructors to help. One of the problems with the e-card is when you give those students their card, you are the instructor of record that's on that card. Well, if I'm seeing 30 cards issued same day, same time, my first question will be, who were the assisting instructors? So if we see that, you may get a call from us saying, hey, listen, we saw on such and such a date you did this class. Who were your assisting instructors? The other thing you might want to do is issue the cards, break up the instructors by the number of cards. So if each instructor did roughly 5 students, 5 cards for each instructor type thing, and that way we're seeing multiple instructors out there. If you only put your name on the card, then we won't see who the other instructors were helping, and the other instructors won't get credit for the course unless we know that they were out there helping you teach. That is one of the drawbacks with the e-cards, is we cannot see all the assisting instructors helping with that class. So help us out with that, and that'll all work out well. Fail Skype and fail FaceTime is kind of another issue that we've got going on. You know, we do our updates, for those that haven't done this, it's kind of cool, by Skype or by FaceTime. And by that, literally, I watch you do your skills. We go over the odds and ends, new things, discuss problems and topics. Works extremely well. However, there are those occasional instructors that when I bring them up and say to them, you walked into a room and there's a dead body laying on the floor, have no clue what to do. Their adult CPR is incorrect. They don't properly ventilate the mannequin. On the infant, their hand position is way off, or they're not using a 2-finger technique. In some cases, the mannequin's being held in the air. Well, this is kind of scary because these are updates. This means you've actively been out there teaching. And my question is, what have you been teaching? This is not what I expect to see when I'm looking at a Skype update or a FaceTime update. So, in the event that I'm seeing something like that, I'm basically saying to you, the instructor, stop. This Skype or this FaceTime is now over. You will be getting contacted by Kathy. I would suggest you go back and review your videos, your course material, and then we're going to reschedule this and try this again. When that happens, when I shut down a FaceTime or Skype, that means from that point on, you will not teach until we get you back up to speed. Because for whatever reason, I don't know how this happened, you've forgotten everything of how to teach. So, it doesn't happen often. It's pretty rare that this does happen. However, we've had it happen recently. If in fact I shut that Skype down, then you do not teach. If we see that after that point in time, you have not come back and redone or done anything, except you're still out there teaching classes, you will be terminated from this training center. We will not have you out there teaching incorrect information, and certainly not out there running down the good name of paramedical personnel of Maryland. All of our instructors do fantastic classes. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You won't do it with this training center. Okay? So again, if you need to get back up to speed, we're all about that. Training, education, get you back where you belong, get you back teaching correctly. But if you are teaching incorrectly, you will not continue to do that. Okay? Hate to come down like a downer like that, but anyway, it really irritates me when somebody goes out and teaches totally wrong information, not helping the student. Okay, e-cards are working very well. Majority of you have shifted over to e-cards. From what we're hearing from the evaluation stuff, everything's working extremely well. There are a few of you that are still sending rosters in, and we are sending your cards out. Remember that if you send a roster in with incorrect information and we have to fix something, that's $5. It's not our fault that your student put wrong information on your roster. That needs to be checked before it gets sent in. Because once we send it out, and you've already paid for that, if we've got to go back in and fix something, we have to charge you for that. Again, sometimes it takes an enormous amount of time tracking down everybody and their brother to make sure everything is correct in order to send that card out a second time. So yeah, no, I'm sorry about that, but please make sure your stuff is correct when it comes in on the first round. Commercial classes. If you got a commercial class, one of the things we do here, and we suggest you do as well, is put up a proposal to your client. Say to your client, hey, listen, I'm going to write down exactly how this is going to work. We're going to be there at this time. The cost is going to be this much, either per person, per class, per hour, however you want to do it. So that everything is spelled out to your client. They know what to expect. You know what to expect. It really does come in handy when you show up at a date and time that's already preset and nobody's there and they go, oh, we thought this was next week. Well, that doesn't pay the bills. So the bottom line is you need to make sure it's all written down. It does protect you, and it really protects the client as well. So everything spelled out is the way to do this. Okay? Feedback mannequins. As you know, I'm not a super wild about feedback mannequins. We've had these in the past. This is not something new. They did not work well in the past. I really don't expect them to be working well in the future, but it is what it is. As a result of that, there is an inexpensive CPR mannequin on Channing Beat that is relatively inexpensive. It does have a feedback device that plugs into the side of the mannequin. It's made by Simulades. Its cost is $153, which isn't bad when you're looking at for adult mannequins. So that will help. Remember, you need something to give feedback for your class, and that one works okay. If you currently have the Laerdal mannequins, which is really kind of what we like. Laerdal was the home of Annie, the very first mannequin ever made to teach CPR. The Annies can be retrofitted, or they call it upgraded, to a computerized version called QCPR. What happens is you buy the kit. The kit right now is $72, and you can go to Laerdal and buy it direct. Or when you get on Laerdal, you can look up upgrade, and it'll pop up. You can get it for the adult mannequin, you can get it for the junior mannequin. And basically what happens here is the entire inside of your mannequin comes out, this all goes in. Then you look up the app. There's an app for an Android phone, there's an app for an iPhone. You download the app to your phone, you do 5 compressions on the mannequin. Via Bluetooth it will synchronize with your phone, and the student or you can watch them do compressions at the speed of their compressions. It looks like a little speedometer, shows the speed at which they're doing the ventilations, shows them everything. So works extremely well. But I'm still kind of one for, even though you're watching that, they're watching that, you still need to be right there with the mannequin and with the student, because that's what this is all about: direct feedback, getting them coached, getting them doing extremely good CPR. The better they are at that CPR, the better we have of making the change when we come with the advanced life support. So it does help, but it doesn't replace you, the instructor. We've already had people complaining that nobody was doing CPR correctly. Come to find out, the battery was dead in the mannequin. Again, this is what we had in the old days. So make sure the equipment is working before you play with it. If there's a problem, you do it. See if you can get it to work correctly. And then feel free to use the equipment, but again, it does not replace you, the mannequin. You need to see them ventilate, you need to see them compress, you need to see good body mechanics, which is not reflected by lights. So again, it's still back up to you to make sure they're doing a good job. Okay, that pretty much wraps it up for this version of Valentine's Day CPR. Again, I want to thank you for being part of Paramedical Personnel of Maryland and part of our family. You're doing a good job. The more people we train, the more lives we save. That's really what this is all about. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to call. Our new office hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's 10 to 4. On Saturdays, we're 9 to 4. So that's our new office hours. Please make note of that. Our lady that handles the e-cards that you can ask questions of is Christine. She's here from 10 until 3, Monday through Friday. So again, thanks for watching, and have a good month.